Good morning, welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday right now, May 31st. We are closing out week 4 of 2025 summer running. So if you watched my previous videos, you know we're doing a 12-week cycle this summer, trying to get fit, trying to get fast, all the things. And this is week 4 that we're closing out. So this is also going to be the end of phase 1, which is the build phase, which is exciting because next week we'll go into the maintenance phase, which is a whole different thing. But today on the schedule we have a 14-mile long run, so we're going to be doing that this morning. I didn't wake up quite as early as usual for this Saturday long run simply because today it's not going to get as hot as it normally does. In the summer it can get up to 70 or 80 degrees pretty early in the morning, but today I think the high is 60, 65, so I didn't have to get up before the sun to go and beat the heat, which is nice. I got to sleep in a little bit, I got to rest a little bit. But still going to do our 14 miles this morning, and then that should pretty much finish out the week for us. Last week we did 65 miles on the week, which was a new high for the year. This week, if all goes according to plan today, will also be 65 miles, so that puts us well on track for everything we want to do this summer. Now last week I actually didn't fuel at all before my long run, which was not ideal. That isn't usually the case, but for whatever reason I didn't. And I did 14 miles last week and I survived, but barely. So this week we are still fueling. Beforehand I got toast with some honey on there, extra carbs, and I got 30 grams of carb mix in my water. So I'm going to take this down, and then probably about 30 minutes or so I'll leave and start the long run. It just takes me a little under 2 hours, long. Again, we're building endurance this summer, and so 14 miles is probably the highest I'll get to this summer. And you've seen the workouts I've been going through in the past couple of weeks. I'm taking this summer to try and get faster on my lower end, so my 5K speed, 400s, 200s, the works, everything like that. But also, I'm keeping these long runs in here week by week to also build up my endurance. I think in the winter, the longest I got up to was 12 or 13 miles, and so my goal in the future is to run a fast half marathon. I still have to build my endurance as well. And that's where these longer weekend runs come in. I'm not trying to do a workout as part of these. I'm not trying to push it. I'm not trying to PR anything, but I do need that hour and a half, closer to 2 hours, just time on my feet, so that my body is used to running that many miles and that many minutes at once. So the goal of today, 14 miles, is just endurance building. It doesn't really matter how fast or slow we go. I just want to keep it steady, and I want it to feel good for that 14 miles. So that's the goal for today. But I'm going to eat this, I'm going to drink this, I'm going to warm up, stretch, all the things, get ready, and then I'll take you along with me today for the run. Alright, run was just complete. We did 14 miles as expected. The weather was actually a little colder than I thought. It was quite chilly and a little bit windy out there, but it made for a nice run. So looking at my watch, we did today 14 miles at a 7:20 minute per mile pace. That put us right over an hour and 40 minutes for the whole thing, which isn't bad. I think last week I did a similar run at, high sevens pace. So it's definitely, building some endurance and getting there in terms of these long runs. I had it was pretty steady. I had a couple of pretty decent splits towards the end where I went 6:52, 6:37, 6:45, but overall it was pretty steady and a solid long run to go for today. Now, when I talk about building endurance, the long run is one of the non-negotiable things for me. So no matter what distance I'm racing, if it's a 5K, 10K, half marathon, I always include a long run in the training plan because it just makes sense. Because if I'm going to race a half marathon, say going for an hour and a half time goal, I want to make sure before that I've ran an hour and a half time on my feet so that I know what that feels like and how my body responds to it. And alongside that, the long run also it helps your body get used to longer distances at faster paces, and that is never a bad thing. Even if you're training for, just a 5K, it's 3 miles, you want to be doing some more speed work like I've been doing, but also endurance is still important. If you can run, 13, 14 miles at a 7-minute pace, that shows that once you go down to only running 3 miles or 15 to 20 minutes, you're probably going to be able to run that a lot faster because you built up the endurance at longer distances, longer times, and more mileage throughout the week. So that's why I utilize these long runs, and I really do leverage them throughout the year to build endurance. And to endure just means literally to be able to do something for a longer period of time. So the longer I'm able to run these paces at a more comfortable effort, at a faster speed, it's going to be better for me in the long run. So long run is number one, non-negotiable. Number two is what I'm about to do, and I'll show you through a couple of these exercises, is strength work. Now, obviously, when you're running 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, more miles than that, it's mainly for your aerobic system, for your lungs, for your heart, for all of that. But also, if your muscular endurance can't keep up with that, then you're going to be in trouble. So doing strength work, even if it's just a little bit throughout the year, you want to build up the muscles in your legs to not only support you throughout those longer distances, but also to enable you to thrive and to go even faster and longer and more comfortably on these longer distances. So I'm going to do a little bit of strength work. This is what I do typically after some of my long runs, and I'll take you through a couple exercises, show you kind of what I'm talking about. So the first exercise that I'm going to talk about, and this is something that I recommend for any sort of endurance athlete, runner, anybody in general. It's a great movement just to be proficient at, and it's going to be the walking lunge. And I do these weighted. You don't have to do them weighted, but it's weights, set of dumbbells are a great way to progressively overload it. So I've got 20s here, and it's a very simple exercise. All you're going to do is it's a walking lunge, and so you're going to go each leg however many times you want. I don't have very much space, so I'm going back and forth, but I'll do a couple sets. I'll do 2 to 3 sets of probably 8 to 10 lunges on each leg. And again, I've weighted these, so I have 20s here. So I'll be doing 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 on each leg. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, all it requires is, again, some sort of, you can either do it with body weight or with the dumbbell. Again, I'm using a 20 and some sort of elevated surface. So this is 6 to 8 inches off the ground, and we're going to do an isometric side step up. So I'm going to grab my weight here, and once more, this is going to be 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 each leg. And all you're going to do is, with your other leg, one leg staying on top, one leg on the ground, you're going to go up, and then isometrically back down, just touching the ground, not putting your weight on the ground, and then back up again. And you're going to do this 8 to 10 times each leg for 2 to 3 sets. This is great for your quads, this is great for your knees, this is great for your hips. Anything in that, upper leg area is going to benefit from this exercise. Sticking with the theme here of minimal equipment needed, we have a 20-pound dumbbell. Once again, you can use any weight you desire and a slightly elevated surface. Now the past two exercises we focused on the upper half of the leg, so the quads, the knee area, the hips, anything like that with lunging movements and step up movements. So now we're going to focus on the lower half of the leg with some calf raises. Now there's two types of calf raises I like to do. Both of them can be weighted or unweighted. The first one is going to be simple. It's going to be both of your legs and you're just simply raising your calves. You can do these centered like this. You can switch your feet to point out or to point in, but that's this double leg calf raise. And you can do these 15 to 20 reps. Now the other type of calf raise that I like to do, and this is a really good one, is this usually is weighted. Usually this isn't just body weight, but you can build up to it. It's a single leg calf raise. And the important part of a single leg calf raise is to hold the isometric. So the isometric is when you start from the top and you're on your way down. Now that's going to be the important part to hold. So I'll do these for 6 to 8 reps, 2 to 3 sets. You go fast up, and then 2 to 3 seconds on the way down. Fast up, 2 to 3 seconds on the way down. And so your isometric single leg calf raises, these are going to be really, really, really good for your calves, your ankles, any sort of stability down there. So the last thing I'm going to do here, and again, there's only 4 exercises that are part of this routine that I do, typically once or twice a week. And so we're not doing a ton of exercises, and so I want to pick 4 that I think are going to be really highly effective and you're going to get the most out of. So the final thing, we're going to go back to that lunging movement that I said is so important earlier. It's because running, any single leg lunging movement is going to be really good for you. And so this one, I'm not going to do weighted. You can do weighted if you want, but you should definitely build up to it. And so how we're going to do this is it's just simply an isometric hold. So isometric means you're not moving once you get into position and you're holding it in static position. So we're going to get into a lunge position and simply hold as low as you can go with your back knee in the lunge position, good posture, for about 30 to 45 seconds. And it doesn't seem like very much, but it is difficult and it isn't isometric, so the point is to simply hold it steady. So you're going to do this 30 to 45 seconds, each leg 1 to 2 times. This, I promise you, is going to be so beneficial for any sort of running activity that you're going to be doing. So the final thing I wanted to do to kind of end off the video is go through my planning process for next week. So it's Saturday right now. Tomorrow we just have a couple of miles easy before we're going into the following week, which will be another week of work. So a couple things on the board. It's mostly blank. I have all the days written out, my target paces. We're going into week number 5 out of 12. So if you watch my summer planning video, we have a 12-week program, consists of 3 phases. Phase 1, which we just completed today, is the build phase. We went 55 miles, 60, 65, 65. So building to that new level of mileage and intensity that we want for the summer. Now we're in phase 2. Which is the maintenance phase. And I say maintenance phase not because we're just kind of plodding along, not gaining any fitness, but we're doing the exact same mileage pattern as phase 1, and we're doing very similar intensity. We're just getting our body used to and acclimated to this level of mileage. Now, the reason I have this maintenance phase and I'm not going into a block of ever increasing mileage is simply to give my body time to adapt. So the typical rule of thumb is you want to be fairly comfortable for 3 to 4 weeks at any given amount of mileage before increasing. So this past 4 weeks, I went 55, 60, 65, 65. And while I got more comfortable throughout, I wouldn't say that I was entirely comfortable throughout the whole process. So there was days when I felt extra fatigued or my legs were a little extra sore, and that's due to the increasing mileage. And so by going back and doing this pattern of mileage all over again without really increasing any other variables, we're giving my body time to adapt to it and time to really, grow into the new season of mileage. And so that's why week 5 out of 12, this is the first week of the maintenance phase. We're going back down, taking a step back to 55 miles for the week. Now, I'm going to start off where I finished this week. So our long run on Saturday of next week for 55 miles, I'm just going to keep it easy. I'm going to do 12 miles. So Saturday, will be 12 easy. And Sunday, since it is a lower mileage week, I would like Sunday to be a complete off day because I haven't had one of those in a couple weeks. So starting out strong, we got Saturday with 12 easy. Now I know two other things. I know Monday I'm going to get a workout in, and Friday I'm going to get a workout in. Likely on those days, what I've been doing is also getting 3 to 4 miles in the morning. So I'm going to put AM and PM under each of those days. And so Monday, I typically do more of a 5K focused workout. So I'm going to say 2 mile easy warm up, and I'm going to do 12 sets of 4 by 400 at 5K pace with 60 seconds rest in between, followed by 2 miles cool down. So that will put us at 7 miles worth of workout, and then we want probably 4 easy in the morning there, which will put us at 11 miles for Monday. So again, we're doing a very similar workout as the past weeks on Monday. We're doing a little bit less on the repetition side, a little bit less on the rest side. Again, we're not increasing anything major. And that leads us to Friday. So this Friday, I took a bit of a different approach to a workout, and I did another kind of 5K focused workout. I'm going to take a step back, and I'm just going to do a tempo run on Friday afternoon. So again, standard procedure, 2 mile easy warm up. We're going to do 4 mile tempo. We did 3 miles last week. I want to do 4 miles this week and 2 easy cool down. So again, that puts us at 8 miles for the workout. I want to do probably 4 in the morning. That'll put us at 12 for the day. And so there we go. That's the basic structure of our week. We got 2 workouts that we've planned out, 1 speed focused workout, 1 tempo focused workout, and a long run. That puts us at 12, 12, 11. That is 35 miles out of 55 for the week. So that means Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we need to split that and get 20 miles. Now these are going to be easy runs, recovery runs. It doesn't really matter how you split it. It's about 7 per day. It's 7, 7, and 6. So I'm going to say after our workout, Tuesday, we're going to do 6 easy. The other 2 days, we're going to do 7 easy, 7, 7, 6. Again, Sunday is an off day. So we have 6 full days of training, 1 day of an off day, 55 miles with 2 workouts and a long run. So that's my thought process in planning a week. That's kind of all that goes into it, really. All you need to do is know your mileage goal, know what types of workouts you want to run, and how frequently you want to do them, and then just go from the top down on there. So next week will be a bit of a step back week. I'll cover it on my Instagram in a little bit more detail if you want to follow me on there. But yeah, that's what we got coming up. And again, 5 weeks, which means we got 8 weeks left in the summer training program. And so we're trying to still gain a little bit more fitness. And I think we'll get there. This is not the first training plan I've written for myself, but it's one of the first ones where I'm kind of feeling the success and the actual benefits from it. So hopefully it goes well, but we will see. So that's what's on deck. Today is the end of the week. Tomorrow I got 3 miles easy. That'll get us to 65, but I'm going to relax the rest of the day. It was a pretty big run this morning, and you'll see all of my weekly workouts and stuff on Instagram posted tomorrow afternoon. So follow there if you want to stay in the loop with everything I'm doing.